Okay, first off, this video is not about AI. It's about people, specifically creative people. Creative people have a certain algorithmic entity that shall not be named. Okay, look, fine, it is about AI. It's about how this new tech has managed to stir up the art world in a really polarizing way and, often results in someone crying in the corner due to existential overthinking, I mean, I can relate. Or, battling it out online, trying to justify their position and dying on that hill. Many people believe AI is just a big, scary monster going for all of these artist jobs. And yeah, that's definitely a valid fear. I'm not going to lie. I've been watching all of this unfold, scrolling through Reddit, watching all the AI witch hunts on TikTok. Just kidding. I'm too old for that. They didn't let me in. And I've realized the real story isn't just about creative job displacement. It's about the massive, awkward, and sometimes downright nasty rift that AI has blasted through the art community itself. Also, as you can see, I'm sketching this little painting as an exercise. I've been trying to practice a more painterly approach, and I found this cool little photo on Pinterest, which, oh God, Pinterest, I'll rant about that another time, trying to move away from that. But anyways, also just wanted to rant about, some current culture. It's pretty popular to hate on AI right now, and especially in the art community, it's taking all the jobs, making artists irrelevant, but what's new? Everybody always hates on artists, and we're always the first to get cut, I guess. Yeah, if you got some laundry, bust that out, get folding, or if you're washing the dishes, let's do it. Just pop in those headphones, those earpods, whatever you got, put this on. Let's get going. Has the art community always been this stuffy? I don't know. I don't know if stuffy is the right word, but the circles I hung out in, they were usually pretty inclusive, so maybe not. The bigger, more talented creatives would be more than happy to lend out tips to inexperienced newcomers. When I was new and getting in there, everyone was helpful, and I feel like I'm a little bit more higher on that list now. Maybe not that high, but enough to help out, new kids coming in. Yeah, you kids, you whippersnappers. But right now, I feel like there are full-blown online detective squads now, like just with the AI witch hunts where artists are being publicly accused of using AI, sometimes based on like just the tiniest, flimsiest bit of evidence. Like, her hands are a bit weird in that painting, must be AI, the color is a little off, that's not a gradient, why does that look weird? That's not right. And then there's like all the dogpiling, everyone wants to process videos, hint, hint, this is my process video. This is an AI, I promise. Anyways, the instant canceling if someone doesn't respond perfectly or quickly enough, reputations are getting tarnished, and sometimes a little more than suspicion and collective internet outrage happens. There's a lot going on. On one end, you got people who think the AI art is the second coming. We all know them. That it's opening up new avenues for those who can't draw to quote unquote draw and create their art. And then you got the traditionalists who are ready to just burn anyone at the stake if they even whisper that word prompt. And somewhere in the middle are the AI-assisted artists. The ones that are trying to use it as a tool, but they're terrified that any slightly unusual brushstroke is going to get them labeled and catapulted into the town square for public shaming, the stoning, let it commence. I mean, no one's safe, right? I don't think anybody's safe, and that's the problem. It's created this atmosphere where people are afraid to experiment or post because of the AI Gestapo. They just might come for them. But anyways, why does this drama, this cancel culture, why does all this matter? Well, because it's breeding a toxic environment of fear. Instead of grappling with the actual complex ethics of AI, blah, 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 which are huge and important, by the way, they are really important. It's huge. It's complex. There are ethics being broken. But instead, all that energy is getting channeled into these purity tests and finger pointing, and it's distracting, it's damaging, and makes the whole art scene look like a reality TV show. I mean, it's kind of fun, right? The drama's a little fun. But that's kind of the story for the whole world right now, too, right? Like just the polarization of everybody's... Is this polarization even real? I don't know. Is the drama real? But it's crazy because all this infighting and false accusations and a rush to point people out. It's the perfect setup to understand that what feels like unique little art world crisis actually isn't unique at all. While the art world is tearing itself apart over all of this, just outside, right next door, is literally every other industry with humans involved. Companies and industries have been trying to streamline and automate and cut out the messy, unpredictable, needs a lunch break or sick day human condition. I think we all know that's not a new business strategy. That's pretty much the corporate tradition at this point. Pizza parties are not cheap. Okay, I'm gonna put on my old-timey monocle. You can't see it, but I know you can't see it, but just use your imagination. It's on. Mr. Monopoly Man. During the Industrial Revolution, you had skilled artisans, the Luddites. You may have heard this term before. I believe today we use it to refer to people who ate tech, I guess. We still use that word? Luddite. But they were literally smashing textile machines because these newfangled corporations threatened their livelihoods and their skills. Ancient Americans were hardcore, believe it or not. They used to actually protest and shit. Anyways, they weren't just angry about losing jobs, they were protesting changes that they felt would fundamentally worsen their lives and devalue their craft. And you can bet there are accusations and divisions within their own communities back then too. I mean, between those who adapted, the corporations, and those who resisted, literally everybody else. Woo! Now fast forward through history, we've got assembly lines, automated telephone operators, all that's a computer, passive-aggressive self-checkout kiosks that loudly announce unexpected item in the bagging area and take a full-on screenshot of you criminal, even though, you did it right. I'm not a damn Luddite. And as you can see, for decades, the drive has been towards efficiency, cost cutting, and, that kind of meant finding ways to do things with fewer actual people. And as they say, corporations aren't evil because they're not living things with their own decision-making consciousness. No, they're just managed by squishy, intensely focused, bottom-line driven humans who may or may not be evil. And running all the little moving parts are squishy, complicated, tired, and have a tendency to form angry online groups type people who can be expensive. So when we see big companies suddenly very interested in AI that can generate images, write copy, or even code, it's not a transformative, once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's the next logical step in a very long, consistent roadmap towards automation. Now, artists are no strangers to changes in this technology. Tech has always disrupted our art form, but we are the first ones to usually feel it the hardest. If anything, the art community is probably the siren call to a lot of the biggest changes these days, changes in society. Just remember that it's less AI coming for artists and more AI is the latest tool in the ongoing saga of can a robot do this cheaper and will humans fight each other about it? Yeah, we will. And, actually a quick check-in to break up this rant. Are you all okay? Everyone doing good? Did you drink enough water today? All good. If not, tell me about it in the comments, or if it's in fact all good, tell me that too. You just want to check in. You gotta stay hydrated. Anyways, okay, so you got your accountants, your people in logistics, customer service, and coders. Oh man, remember when working in computers was basically a guaranteed path to success? I mean, you could literally walk into a room full of brain surgeons and rocket scientists, and they would all stop and silence and be like, wow, that guy, I want to be just like him when I grow up. He does computers. Do rocket scientists use computers too? They'd probably be in that camp one day. Anyways, you get the idea. Of course, that's all changing, but don't start feeling better just yet, doctors, because AI is also being used in medicine to help diagnose diseases and analyzing images and stuff, and doing it way faster than a doctor could, and doctors probably love it. Maybe, I don't know. What I'm trying to say, this is all a shared experience. Like everywhere you go, AI is coming for your job, not in a scary like Terminator way, Skynet, that it's just more like big companies being greedy and they don't want to pay us kind of way. So anyways, the discomfort, the uncertainty, the what does this mean for me feeling that we all feel in the art community right now, it's going to be a shared experience for a lot of people in a lot of different industries. And, again, I'm not trying to downplay what artists are going through, not at all. I'm just trying to say that artists aren't alone. We get hit pretty hard. Again, as always, the rift that we see in art, the arguments over the ethics and originality and the role of the human skill versus the machine efficiency, and always looking over our backs because maybe just a little bit you use ChatGPT to write a few emails and act as your personal psychotherapist. Anybody? We've all kind of used it here and there. We're kind of seeing the benefits to it in our own little lives. We're not all Luddites. Word of the video today, everyone. Anyways, artists being the expressive and vocal bunch, them crafty rapscallions, we are the type to be very vocal and treat the creative process very precisely because, the arts are literally always under attack. So there you have it. Here's the picture. Here's the art. Hours of painstaking work while I'm sitting on the toilet, sped up in record time. Anyways, I want to wrap this up by saying I'm not exactly an AI sympathizer, if you couldn't tell. I actually gave up on creating for a while because I thought, what's the point? Anybody can throw a prompt in and it'll come out leagues better than what I can make. And that really got me down. It took some time, but I finally realized that I actually like the whole creation process. I like the challenge. I like banging my head on the table trying to come up with ideas and, sitting there with an existential look on my face like, what am I supposed to be doing? Procrastinating because I don't like to do a certain part of the process. Backgrounds. I just need to be tortured, I guess. It's like an itch I have to scratch. I'm going to put that energy into creating whether I like it or not. And I've also realized that the vast majority of art lovers want their art created by people. And I do believe that's what's going to make art more valuable going forward. Art made by humans. The AI slop coming out, that's all going to those corporations and companies that honestly never really valued the artist to begin with. And now, yeah, that's it. Okay. Are you done with your chores now? Did you finish that water? If you're still here, I want to say thanks. Like and subscribe if you feel like it's your thing. I have a lot of other speed paints. Most are just, me practicing different techniques, kind of my little sketchbook here, digital sketchbook, I guess. But every now and then I want to upload some of my more complete work and some little tips and tutorials I've been wanting to do too and put out there, but found all this stuff along the way. It's kind of want to share my opinion, and that's it. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you all on the next one.